Welcome. I'm gonna lose my mind, and I'm keeping this in. Of me, this is gonna be a weird intro. So welcome back to Lake Effect Sports. Zoom is doing this horrific new update that when you press record to start, it says this meeting is being recorded in this very just loud, obnoxious, robotic voice, and I will never be able to focus when that starts. I'm gonna just have
Yeah.
to edit out from now on the first seconds of this.
God. Yeah, it sounds like the annoying TikTok voice. Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
The voice to text thingy, yeah.
yeah.
Well, welcome back. I'm never frustrated when we start this show, even when the Indians suck. But Zoom's my the thing that gets me, I guess. but but
Great stuff.
besides that, all right, what do we got? So I think we're gonna start off with just some personal stuff today. Just talk about what we're up to. So we're both surprisingly we don't live really anywhere near each other, kind of like an hour apart or so. We're both starting
Yep.
some rec basketball leagues. So my team, we are historically not good basketball players. We play hard, but we're not good. Is your team going to be any good?
Uh, I have a good feeling we'll be good, but we'll see. Like, some of the guys I've played with forever, but I have a good feeling we'll be all right.
Matt, compare yourself to an NBA player. What would your skill set be on the court?
Well, I would say I always get everybody calls me Mr. Fundamental. All the time, I'm the guy that always is doing pump fakes. I sometimes do bank shots. So I'm in a way I'm like Tim Duncan, but with more range.
So are you you play that power forward type?
Yeah, wing power forward type of thing. Get rebounds and just set screens. Like I'm just I do everything, and I'm pretty good in the post. So yeah, pretty much like that.
Yeah, I've personally always been like a 2 through 4, but again, the lacking of basketball skill of the team I'm on, I'm actually our point guard because we don't have any other ball handlers, and I'm the only one who kind of played basketball slightly longer into their high school career.
Okay.
So we're gonna shoot for 5. We made the playoffs. There was 20 teams in our lowest level division, and we made the playoffs of 8. So that was our step forward. Maybe we'll win. We actually won a game in the playoffs. We just lost the series. So updates of that. Our first game's tomorrow. So could get ugly.
We'll gladly go over this, including my games in the next couple weeks when we start. We'll gladly go over that.
Definitely. But what people are really here to listen to, Indians talk. So it was a week where we got to face the Tigers, and that always seems like a good week. I don't. It's funny because when I was first started to really get into baseball, the Tigers destroyed us. We would never beat them. It felt like 2 to 3, maybe 4 losses if we had to. Now it seems like an easy win. Well, kind of go through this week. What's your thoughts?
For the most part, I feel like it was a pretty successful week. Obviously, with the Twin Series, you only win one game, but still was very competitive. So it is what it is. And then with the Tiger Series, you went 3 out of 4. It was definitely what you had to do. You had to win those, win 3 out of that 4 at least. But the problem was the injuries. The injuries that kept happening throughout this week. Franmil goes down with an oblique. He could be out until July. Then you got Plesac aggressively tearing off his jersey and hurting his thumb. And then you got some guys banged up across the roster. And it's getting pretty dicey right now.
So I kind of want to circle back to one injury in specific. Franmil, that happens. He swung too hard like he always does and probably just pulled something. It's a good, normal baseball injury. It happens. Zach Plesac does not know how to take off a T-shirt.
Jersey.
What? I'm speechless. I don't even know how to describe the injury just to make fun of it even. He just couldn't take his jersey off. He got it stuck on something.
Yeah, he just hit his thumb on like a chair or something. And I guess this was what after he got shelled like by the Twins. And I guess it was in that episode where he kind of was what they considered unconsolable. And I guess it just happened. And it was a freak accident.
Yeah, that's like when a player goes into the locker room and they start hitting stuff like when they're angry and then they break their hand. You're like, oh, you're just an idiot. It feels like
Yeah.
something like a Clevenger or a Bauer would do. And there are long line of idiot pitchers that just have no brains.
It is funny because Zach Plesac was hanging around them in his first couple of years, and so I don't know if that little bit of rubbed off of him, but yeah, that was bad. That was just bad.
I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do in the rotation now. We've brought up Eli Morgan, right? That's his name, correct?
Yeah, he should be pitching today. So,
Yes.
and
What's I don't really know anything about him. He's one of the few guys in our minors I don't know anything about. Could you give me a little rundown on Eli Morgan?
from what I know about Eli Morgan, he's kind of more of a like his out pitch is a changeup, and like he throws up to 91, 92, but changeup is where he'll make his money, and like he's a control pitcher that causes a lot of weak contact. So he probably doesn't have the highest ceiling, but his floor is pretty good, probably, if I would have to think.
Is he going to be in a more of a spot start role, or are we thinking he's actually going to be able to stretch the game out a little bit?
Um, I think they're going to give him the start. Probably have him pitch as long as possible, and then I probably think he would pitch more because Plesac's hurt. So we'll see. I think he'll be up here for a little while, but we'll see how long though.
Yeah. And then for our other two spots in the rotation, which felt like kind of misses, they had bounce back starts at least. Henches had a decent, but maybe slightly better than decent outing in Detroit. And then McKenzie had a very solid outing. He didn't go very far into the game, but they did kind of pull him early, and his confidence should be a little higher now, hopefully.
Yeah, after they pulled McKenzie, it definitely seemed like there was a mental shift in his game when he was up there. He was a lot more aggressive. Like I know that they said they would bring him back down regardless, but he's going to be back on the 27th for the doubleheader. So I hopefully it carries over. Like honestly, for all of us, we need to piece all these starts together somehow, some way, because it's not pretty right now.
And I know they said they're going to send him back down, but for who? We don't have like guys all over the place right now. We're very hurt and very like limited in pitching, especially since Logan Allen didn't plan out. Sam Henches is iffy, and we don't know about Eli Morgan. So if those two have bad starts in their next two outings, I mean, how can you send McKenzie back down? He's at least going to probably give you 4 to 5 okay innings.
For sure. They are gonna they're considering stretching out Cal Quantrill, which I'm totally or he's been really good in the long like relief role, so I think he could definitely step in. JC Mejia has definitely shown a little bit of what he can do. Maybe he'll get some starts, but yeah, it's just the unknown right now. Where if things don't go well, that you don't know where else you're gonna go if things just keep getting worse.
And with Mejia, does he really have starter capabilities? Because he has some pretty nasty stuff. Keeping him in the bullpen and trying to find a new, like, good, longer role for him seems like something that could really work.
Yeah, that he was a starter in AAA, but he only had 2 starts. I think they were both 5 innings. So I think he'd be stretched out. It's just they had to put him somewhere because of these guys not going deep into the games. So that he has to pretty much take Cal's role of being that long relief piggyback guy. And while Cal is now going to be getting starter innings essentially. So I think that's what they're going to do with him.
And I like Cal, but man, he just gives up way too many walks. One, he's not going to be able to get deep into games. His pitch count's going to soar quickly, and it just hasn't been high all year. So you really can't work him deep into games. So I don't know how I love Quantrill. Maybe it'll be him and Mejia like a kind of like a double start. Didn't they do that once with McKenzie this year, where they kind of used him and Quantrill like as 2 different starters?
Yeah, it was like Logan Allen got like 3 or 4 innings, and then McKenzie piggybacked off him, something like that.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there. So, stars of the week. A little bit harder because pitching was just okay, and the hitting was okay as well.
Yeah.
I think I got first pick this week though.
Yep.
I am going to do a personal choice. Probably not the best player this week, but I was at a game where Cesar Hernandez hit a walk-off home run. How do you not pick that guy? It was electric. We were just my dad and I were like, come on, just lay down the bunt, move him over, and pray that Eddie and Jose can hit him in. Game over. One swing, just a shot off the bat, and you knew it. So that was a must-win game because he struggled the rest of that series against the Twins, but you took one at least.
Yep. Yeah, he's starting to slowly get out of it, and like we need him to get going. Like him and Eddie definitely need to carry the offense for a little bit while Franmil is just sidelined right now. So definitely a good first pick. For me, I'll go with Eddie Rosario because this Tiger series. This is the series that he needed in the worst way. Just like clutch hits, like that clutch hits. Just that one home run yesterday, the RBI double that sealed the 5-4 game. Like he just needed a series like this to just get back and rolling.
And not only that, he was just good throughout the entirety of games. It wasn't just him getting one hit and maybe a walk. It was now he was getting two hits in games and looking like that player we signed for $8 million, which isn't anything crazy, but that was our big splash, and he has not been really acting as such. And it was nice to finally see something paying off with him.
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to stick with another batter. A guy whose name I did not even pronounce. I just said wrong the first time we talked about him. Harold Ramirez. He is a very, very good hitter. Like, plain and simple. I thought he was very solid when we signed him from the Marlins. So it was like, I don't know why the team like that with 0 bats would just let him go. Hey, I'll take it. He's just coming up and he's just hitting the ball hard. It's not always going out of the park or anything like that, but even when he gets out, it's hard hit balls, and it doesn't feel like he's wasting at bats. Like Jake Bauers has kind of been playing better, for an example, but he just strikes out a lot. He has a lot of wasted at bats. It doesn't feel like Harold is wasting his at bats. So I just really like kind of the pop and spark he's brought to the lineup.
Definitely. Like he has definitely brought a little bit of consistency in the lineup, and the fact that he's been able to drive in runs to help out, it's just been a bonus. Like the fact I was so happy when they brought him in because like he had done so well with the Marlins a couple years ago, and unfortunately COVID got in the way the year before, and luckily COVID just gave us this opportunity to grab him. So I'm so happy he's starting to show it like lately now.
Yeah, it was definitely a younger kind of, at least an outfield bat that paid off for us. All right, so that's what.
For number 2, I'll go with Savali. He's my guy, Mr. Consistent, always giving you 7 innings. He's just been great. He's been our most consistent pitcher, and that's why he's my number 2.
Yeah, no, I mean Savali's been great. I just sighed because I'm trying to think of a third guy now, and I'm just going through the entire like rotation bullpen. There's a couple guys like maybe like the bullpen you could like pick out like a Karinchak or something like that. But there was not a lot of other great performances this week. So
Not at all.
I'll go. I'm literally just sitting here just with nothing coming to mind. So I'm going to take Owen Miller because he got his first hit and he had some pretty solid at bats. He's looking pretty competent. He had a bad first game, and that's kind of been like yanking down his average, but he's been a lot better than what the numbers are showing.
Yeah, it's going to take him some time, to get adjusted. But you see the process, see the approaches there. So I totally agree with that.
And yeah, the rest of the bats were just that bad that a guy who hit 211 this week is my third star. So
Yeah, true. And now I gotta think. Number 3, I will just. Number
you
3.
can even take Bieber this week because
Yeah, at this point, number 3 is Bieber. Like he probably would be number 1, but yeah, Shane Bieber is my number 3.
yeah, the kind of the crazy part even with Bieber is he went 6 innings and no hit baseball, but it didn't even feel like that dominant. It was like, oh yeah, all right start, but he was phenomenal. That's just how great Bieber is, and how spoiled we are when a pitcher goes 7 innings of 1-run baseball. You're like, hey, he was okay, I guess.
Yeah, with like Bieber, you kind of nitpick. It's like, yeah, he had 11 strikeouts, but he also had 3 walks. So like, what is that it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so those are the 3 stars, and I think that's about it for Indians talk. It was kind of, I don't want to say a boring week of Indians baseball, but it felt like the first monotonous week of the season where nothing really happened. Well, things did happen besides like the injuries. That was kind of the bad part, but maybe I just didn't watch enough games enough and had to watch a lot pitch by pitch highlights to recap. I was just busy. So I think that's another problem too. So
That's fair. Yeah.
all right. NBA playoffs. Fans. That's what we're gonna start with. Fans
Yes.
suck. That's the nice way to put it. Knicks fans, they had a fan banned. He spit on Trae Young, which is so disrespectful. I think when you go to a game, besides saying something like off color or flat racist and just derogatory about someone's family, I think you could really say whatever. Like when Knicks fans were doing the FU Trae Young chants, yeah, that's probably not appropriate, but it's funny, and I think it's good for basketball. And it gets Trae Young hyped up, and it's good for basketball. Spitting, it's where you kind of draw the line. And then for the other series, popcorn thrown on Russell Westbrook, really? That's just Philly trash being Philly trash.
Of course. Always and forever. Stay classy, Philly. But yeah, fans it's so funny that despite a quarantine and fans not being back, they essentially just go back to the same old BS, Like Knicks fans, of course, they're just happy to be there, be back in the playoffs, but you just ruin it for everybody when you have one idiot spitting while a player's inbounding. Like, come on, guys. Like, we got to be better. Like, there at least has to be some type of respect level. Like if you want to just chant at the guy and just say F you, Trae Young, or just like all the stuff that we've come accustomed to as fans, like whatever, they probably know that too. That's kind of the unwritten ground rules. But just if you cross the line, you deserve to get kicked out. No matter what like you think, you deserve to get kicked out.
Yeah, and those are the 2 easiest kickouts of all time. But I want to stick back with the Philly one for a second, because there was something very funny that happened that kind of went under the radar. So the popcorn gets spilled on Russell Westbrook by a guy about 2-3 rows up in the bleachers. Okay. Guy in the first row immediately fist bumps the guy who spilled popcorn on him. When Russell Westbrook turns around and flies out in anger, he snitches. He immediately turns around and points at him like, not me, that guy up there. You can't do that. You got it. You can't do that. If you're going to fist bump someone, you got to be a ride or die and not snitch. You'd be like, could have been me, could have not been. I think it was just a very, very, just a sad take, a sad reaction. It's a very weak fan.
Yeah, very weak. And that just shows that if you get caught and if you're a fan, you wouldn't do that to his face. And that was pretty much his way of hey, that wasn't me, that was him. Trust me, I'm the good one here. That's just the type of thing that fans would do. They would do that, and then the next thing you know, it's oh yeah, you want a picture or something? Just that's the type of thing that would happen.
That's like when someone tweeted at a UFC fighter and he called him a baby, and he goes, "You wouldn't say that to my face." And he goes, "You're right. That's why I said it on Twitter." And he's like, "Fair enough." Fair enough. It was the real life version of that.
Yeah.
But the rest of the NBA playoffs, I think we've got two really good series right now. Hawks Knicks. So besides the idiot fans in New York, that was one of the most fun like series of basketball I've watched in a long time. It didn't have there was no series last year that had anything of that sort of feel. Besides just the fans, New York being back in the playoffs, guys like Derrick Rose going off, Alec Burks turning into a superstar overnight. I think that was just been one of the most fun series, and that's been my can't miss like games. Like when they're on, I have to watch it.
Yeah, it's just been great. Like Hawks and Knicks, you would think on the surface this doesn't sound that entertaining, but just the players that are involved, the Garden being back in a playoff setting, it's just been so entertaining, and like it's definitely been the must watch of the playoffs so far. I just been having so much fun with it.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, and one thing I really noticed was maybe I just didn't pay close enough attention to the Hawks all year. They kind of have a pretty loaded roster for being a 5 seed. You guys got like Trae Young, John Collins, Bogdanovich, Hunter, like Kevin Herter. Like these are some dudes now that they've got. They should kind of be a little bit better. But Trae Young is finally that real superstar that can carry a team. In that game one, I was cheering for the Knicks, like the only New York team I think I might ever cheer for, but man, he just shut up that crowd. And he doesn't know how to shush a crowd. Like he didn't do shh. He was like shh, like his finger
Oh
was
yeah,
on his forehead.
forehead.
But he's got time to work on that. I think he'll be able to shush a couple more crowds in his career.
Oh yeah, he's definitely embracing being the next like NBA villain. Definitely the next new villain. Like he's turning into Reggie Miller pretty much.
Oh yeah, big time. And then the other series that I think's been really great has been Nuggets and Blazers. I think Lillard be expected to kind of do his thing. I know Jokic is going to probably be the MVP of the league this year, but people still kind of underrate him and don't give him the respect he deserves. And this series is kind of showing how he can just carry a team. This Nuggets team is no one's talking about how hurt they are, not enough at least. And
Nope.
he yanked him to a 2-1 lead against a very good Blazers team. That's Jokic is backing up the MVP right now.
Yeah, he's playing like an MVP, and like you're right, Jamal Murray's hurt. I think their second best player is Michael Porter Jr. Like that roster is very broken right now, and like Jokic is pretty much taping it, like keeping everything together with his play, and like he's going to probably take them deep as far as he can take them. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it's a conference finals at least.
Definitely. I mean, you're losing Murray, Gary Harris, and now guys like Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. have really stepped up. They've kind of embraced this role of being the new 2-3 guys. If this team was healthy, I think they'd be a serious finals contender. I'm not sure they can really compete with the big dogs as much. I think they could still even win the West because I don't think the West is as good this year. Well, kind of wrong there. The West is better than the East. It's just the Nets are in the East, so the East is quote unquote better. But
yeah,
and that's still my only problem with the playoffs right now. I don't think anyone can beat this Nets team. Am I wrong to say that?
I think offensively, no, but I think defensively, there's things you could exploit. I think because they're not that great of a defensive team. They've tried to fix that and they haven't been able to. Like they're gonna probably outscore a lot of teams, but they're gonna give up a lot of points. And like I kind of want to see when they meet the Bucks and the Sixers how they're gonna handle like Giannis and Joel Embiid because they don't have a true center. They just have like he's okay, like the one they're trotting out, but he's not like gonna handle the like
Claxton, or he's all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I wonder how they're gonna handle Joel and Giannis because they have no size outside of KD and like defensively they're just not that good. I still think that they got a good chance of winning it all, but they're defensively they got weak spots.
But you've brought up a great point, and I'm gonna give you a counterpoint. You said stopping Giannis, or you said stopping Joel Embiid. Well, for the Nets, try stopping Kevin Durant. Oh yeah, and James Harden. And oh yeah, Kyrie Irving's just the third best player on that team. And oh yeah, Blake Griffin's kind of coming back and being a great player again. And then they have one of the best shooters in the league, Joe Harris. I personally think if I was a gambling man, which I am, but not right now, I haven't gambled in a while, being a great guy, great person,
Yep.
I would put a significant portion of money on the Nets. And I think it's very easy. I don't think a series gets to 6 against them even. I think this is this team is better than Golden State. I'm going to even say it. Golden State could play a little bit better defense. But James Harden doesn't get enough credit for being maybe one of the best players, or if not the best player in the league at this point. Kevin Durant is also one of those, if not the best player in the league, guys. Kyrie Irving is a guy where you could say he is maybe the best point guard in the league. There's no better offense in the league ever.
Yeah, this probably is one of the best ever assembled. But like I mentioned, they're going to outscore a lot of teams just because they have those three guys. And like Joe Harris and Blake Griffin. But defensively, they still have issues. But the thing is, they have the three best scorers of a generation. So they can make up for it. So I wouldn't be shocked if they win it all. I'm just saying, there's some cracks in that arm. But that's just me.
There are cracks. But you got 2 50, 40, 90 guys. And then James Harden, who's right now, I'm going to say the third best shooting guard of all time. Is that a crazy thing to say, that James Harden's the third best shooting guard of all time?
Oh, no, not at all. Like,
thank you.
He's the best. He's one of the best ISO players I've ever seen. Like the way he plays, like he's one of the best ISO players I've ever seen. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay, so I said something controversial and you agreed. Now I'm going to take it up a notch. Is James Harden getting close to passing Kobe Bryant? I know he doesn't have the points yet and the longevity, so he's not there yet. I'm not saying he's better than Kobe Bryant. I don't want any Kobe fans to go crazy on me. But is he starting to get pretty close now?
I think he was always close. He just never had the playoff success. Like he always would be that one guy that would perform amazingly in the regular season, but just wouldn't be able to keep that production in the playoffs for whatever reason. He just was always that type of guy, like by himself on the Rockets with like CP3 and Russell Westbrook paired with them. But with the Nets, he's in that perfect situation where he doesn't have to be relied on. Like he can just pass it off to KD and Kyrie, and like they're two of the best bucket getters in the league. So like he'll definitely get the recognition now if they go all the way.
Then the flip side of it is this Nets team almost tarnishing his legacy then? If you saying those two are just so good that maybe it just doesn't seem as great then. Is it kind of like that Warriors team where everyone's like, hey, Kevin Durant went there. Who cares about those championships?
That's true. Like yes, we also have KD on this team, who has been ridiculed ever since he joined the Warriors. Nobody's going to give him any bit of his credit. Like they're not going to give credit to Kyrie, and you're right. They probably won't give any credit to James Harden just because they all joined the Nets. But I'm not going to ignore the fact that they're three of the best like scorers we've ever seen in our lifetime.
Yeah, definitely. So that's some playoffs talk. I think we got one last big topic, and it's golf. Well, golf isn't usually a big topic on this show, but my favorite golfer in the world, and I'll stand up for Brooks Koepka, is just getting absolutely attacked for no reason by Bryson DeChambeau, the idiot. My least favorite. And that's the best part. I just hate Bryson so much.
You're going to have to fill me in on this, Pete, because I'm kind of new to this.
All right. Golf expert, Drew. You're the Indians' entire roster expert. I'm hey, who's that new guy on the team? I got golf. That's the one sport I think I know more than you in. And that's a sport I don't even know a lot in. But let's go into it. All right. So I think it really all started when Brooks kind of started complaining about pace of play in the sport. Because there's obviously an attack at Bryson. He's one of the slowest players ever. There's a very famous clip of him putting, and it took 2 minutes of him reading the green, and you just see Justin Thomas, hands on his face, just buried him. He's furious. That happens. So then Bryson's on some like stream or something playing Fortnite, and someone asks about Brooks Koepka's like the body image, like ESPN, and he goes, I don't know it's not even a good photo of him. He's like, he doesn't have abs. He's like, if I was on there, he's like, I'd have abs. And he like made fun of him, kind of called him fat.
Okay.
Brooks then fired back. This is a while ago. This isn't the recent beef that brewed up. He took a picture of his 4 majors. This is when Bryson didn't have any major wins, and he goes, "You're right. I only have a 4-pack, 2 shy of a 6." So that was his shot at Bryson. So then nothing really happened. Just some minor things, nothing too serious. Just some little chirps at each other. Then it all kind of came to the surface this weekend. It was kind of like one of those known, not talked about beefs in golf. Everyone's like, those 2 guys don't really like each other, but we're just gonna bury this away.
Okay.
Has an interview after his first round on Thursday, or maybe it was his second round. Yeah, I think it was his first round on Thursday. And interviews just talking to him. Bryson walks by. Brooks is talking about how the greens are hard to read. Apparently, this is just hearsay at this point now. Bryson said to him, "You just have to line it up correctly."
Okay.
If that's what he said, that's very fair reaction. The other thing that is happening, you could hear it on the video, is Bryson click-clacking away because he wears metal cleats on a golf course. No reason for that in the entire world. We're not playing baseball. That's just dumb, and you're just ruining greens for no reason.
Yeah, that's the one thing I noticed too. I'm like, is that metal cleats? Like, I've never played golf in metal cleats. That continue.
So that's dumb. Whatever it was. So he freaks out. He's angry. That interview wasn't supposed to air. It gets leaked out after Sunday. And Bryson responds to that video, and he goes, "Glad to see I'm living in your head rent-free." What a lame, what a weirdo, lame response. Rent-free, what is this, 2016? Come up with a better roast, dude. Like, lame. Brooks responds to that then with a video of someone following Bryson in his practice round. They yell, "Let's go, Brooksy." Bryson turns around and goes, "Whoever says that, you say that again, you're kicked out of here." Maybe someone else is in your head, Mr. DeChambeau.
Oh my God.
The pettiness of golf doesn't end there. The match gets announced, which is Aaron Rodgers and DeChambeau. What a weird, those 2 are just 2 weirdos together, versus Phil and Tom. Brooks tweets out, he goes, "I'm sorry, bro," at Aaron Rodgers. Bryson makes some chirp at him, and that's kind of really the end of it.
Oh, wow. Okay. A lot to unpack there. Like,
that was a very long-winded story. Mr. Milner, what are your thoughts? Whose side are you on in this? Actually, I'm going to pause you first. There's a correct answer, and we're done with the podcast if you say the incorrect answer. So just wade carefully.
ooh, okay. It's complicated because I mean I would probably go with Brooks on this one. Like, DeChambeau just reminds me of that juiced up jock that just is annoying and just doesn't seem that bright. And Brooks seems like a cool guy. Like, I listened to like the Part of My Take podcast where he was on. He just seemed like a chill dude. Like, didn't really knew he had that type of personality, but he seemed great. But yeah, like I'm definitely taking Brooks's side because like DeChambeau, he just seems like a jerk off. I just don't get the hype around him. Like, I remember people were talking about him, and I was talking to my dad. I was like, "Is DeChambeau any good?" It's like, "Yeah, he should be." It's like, "Should be? What do you mean?" Because like he hits tanks, but he can't do anything in the in between game. So it's like that's what from what I've seen. So yeah, like didn't really like the guy, and I don't like the guy even more.
Did you also see that video he put out of him like doing some 100-pound quote unquote curls? He's doing like some like get his whole arm into it, just slamming it up there. I was like, what are you? Any other person in the world post them like, those are some sloppy form curls. Those are like a good thing. You're actually supposed to do those. People don't recognize that. They're bashing him for that. But since he's doing that, it's like, oh, form wrong, you're gonna hurt yourself, dude. Like,
yeah, and this is the guy that has gained like 100 or so pounds because of protein shakes. You seem to be the guy that's supposed to be like the
protein shakes in a year. He went from a twig. He went from someone who looked like me, just like a nerd and an accountant dude, and now he's freaking huge. Yeah, protein shakes. Go on. Sorry.
Well, maybe something was in those protein shakes, but anyway, but yeah, Brooks. I'm on Team Brooks. DeChambeau, yeah, don't like that guy. Definitely him on Brooks's side.
All right, that's all, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Check us out. Twitter, TikTok. TikToks, they're going to be coming more. It's been on me. I've not posted many. So make sure to follow those social medias. They will be in the links in the bio on YouTube. Make sure to rate us 5 stars on podcast. See you guys next time. Peace out.